The security guard watched as a quiet man carrying a worn backpack stood outside the glass doors of one of the biggest technology companies in New York. The man looked at the building for a moment, smiled softly, and walked inside. He had no idea that before sunset, the CEO would demand to know one question that would leave the entire company speechless. That quiet single dad was about to remind everyone that a person's value can never be measured by their clothes, their job title, or the size of their paycheck. Before we begin, welcome to Heartline Stories. If you enjoy emotional stories about kindness, second chances, and unforgettable life lessons, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps our channel grow and allows us to share more inspiring stories every week. Ethan Brooks had been raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, alone ever since his wife passed away. Life had changed overnight. Every morning, he packed Lily's lunch, dropped her off at school, and then quietly headed to work. He never complained. He never asked for sympathy. His greatest dream was simple: to give Lily a safe and happy life. To everyone at Greystone Technologies, Ethan looked like an ordinary systems analyst. He drove an old pickup truck, brought homemade sandwiches for lunch, and stayed late whenever another employee needed help. Most people appreciated him, but few truly noticed him. One Monday morning, a new regional manager named Victor Hayes arrived. Victor believed expensive suits meant intelligence and fancy cars proved success. He judged people before learning their names. When Victor first saw Ethan wearing simple clothes and carrying his old backpack, he frowned. "Are you part of maintenance?" Victor asked. Ethan smiled politely. "No, sir. I'm with the software team." Victor barely looked at him before walking away. Over the next few weeks, Victor constantly criticized Ethan. He dismissed his ideas during meetings and even laughed when Ethan suggested a way to improve the company's security system. "We'll let the professionals handle this," Victor said with a smirk. The room fell silent. Nobody defended Ethan. Still, Ethan simply nodded and returned to work. Outside the office, Ethan's life was filled with bedtime stories, school projects, and weekend trips to the park with Lily. She often asked why he never became angry when people treated him unfairly. Ethan would smile and answer, "Kindness costs nothing, sweetheart. Sometimes people carry battles we cannot see." One Friday afternoon, Victor called Ethan into his office. "I've reviewed your performance," Victor said coldly. "You're no longer a good fit for this company." Ethan looked surprised but remained calm. "If that's your decision," he replied quietly, "I wish everyone here the best." He packed his few belongings, shook hands with the receptionist who had always been kind to him, and walked out without saying another word. Many employees felt uncomfortable. Something about the way Ethan left made them feel they had just lost someone important. 3 days later, Greystone Technologies faced complete chaos. Servers crashed across multiple offices. Major clients couldn't access their data. Millions of dollars were being lost every hour. The company's CEO, Rebecca Morgan, immediately returned from an overseas business trip. She entered the emergency meeting room and demanded answers. What happened? No one could explain. Then the head of IT spoke quietly. There was only one person who truly understood the backup security system. Rebecca looked confused. "Where is he?" The room became painfully silent. Victor cleared his throat. I fired him." Rebecca stared at him. "You fired our lead architect?" Victor blinked. "I thought he was just another analyst." Rebecca's face turned pale. "No," she whispered. "He designed the security network that protects this entire company." Victor felt his hands begin to shake. "But, he never told anyone." Rebecca looked directly into his eyes. "Because he never cared about titles." Within an hour, Rebecca personally drove to Ethan's small home. She expected to find a man struggling after losing his job. Instead, she found Ethan helping Lily plant flowers in their tiny front yard. He welcomed Rebecca with the same gentle smile he always wore. "I'm sorry to disturb your evening," she said. Lily politely excused herself and went inside. Rebecca took a deep breath. I came to apologize. Ethan remained silent. I trusted the wrong people, Rebecca continued. The company needs you. Ethan looked toward the garden. The company doesn't need me, he said softly. It needs people who respect one another. Rebecca lowered her head. You are right. There was another long silence. Finally, Ethan smiled. I'll help because innocent employees shouldn't lose their jobs over someone else's mistake. Rebecca couldn't believe his kindness. As they prepared to leave, a long line of black luxury vehicles slowly entered the neighborhood. Rebecca watched in confusion. Several professionally dressed men stepped out and greeted Ethan respectfully. Good afternoon, Mr. Brooks. The board meeting is ready whenever you are. Rebecca looked completely shocked. What board meeting? One of the men smiled. Mr. Brooks is the founder and majority owner of Horizon Global Investments. Rebecca froze. Everyone in the business world knew Horizon Global. It owned companies worth billions of dollars around the world. She slowly turned toward Ethan. You're a billionaire? Ethan nodded gently. My wife and I built the company years ago. After she passed away, I stepped away from the spotlight. Working here helped me stay close to ordinary people and remember what truly matters. Rebecca could hardly speak. So, you never needed this job? I never needed the paycheck, Ethan replied. But I loved helping people. The next morning, Ethan repaired the company's systems in just a few hours. Before leaving, he gathered every employee together. He didn't ask for Victor to be humiliated. He didn't demand revenge. Instead, he simply said, every person you meet is carrying a story you may never know. Treat the janitor with the same respect you give the CEO. Titles disappear. Kindness remains. Victor stepped forward with tears in his eyes. I'm sorry. Ethan shook his hand. I forgive you. Learn from this and become the leader your team deserves. Months later, Greystone Technologies became known as one of the best workplaces in America. Respect became more important than status. Managers listened before judging. Employees helped one another without expecting anything in return. Lily smiled proudly whenever people asked about her father. To her, he wasn't famous or wealthy. He was simply the kindest man she had ever known. And maybe that's the greatest success anyone can achieve. If this story touched your heart, remember this simple truth: the richest person in the room is not always the one with the most money, but the one with the biggest heart. A single act of kindness can change someone's life forever. So wherever you go today, choose kindness, offer respect, and never judge a person by what you see on the outside. Until next time, thank you for watching Heartline Stories.